Are you crazy? The fall will probably kill you.
There's one guy brings the items, and the other guy pays.
What about the nurse that lives across the hall from you? She seems kind of nice.
Secure the engine room, then find me a date.
I'm multitasking.
Shoot him in the face.
I hate to shatter your ego, but this ain't the first time I've had a gun pointed at me.
You don't take your fucking hand off that case, it'll be your last.
Stop causing problems.
Hey, maybe you haven't been keeping up on current events, but we just got our asses kicked, pal.
Look. Marion, don't look at it. Shut your eyes, Marion. Don't look at it no matter what happens.
Smell it! You smell it! Ah! Knife bumps!
Nothing else in the world smells like that. All right. We did that movie once. I don't know. Can you hear me? Sometimes it has a delay in effect. Well, I have two of my special guests here today, two of my good friends, Nerdy Geek and Comic Verse, Tony. And we're going to talk about the 1987 version of Robocop, not the remake, because they tried to ruin it when they did that, in my opinion. I don't think you should touch this movie. It's one of the greatest. It's one of my favorite movies from the 80s. It's one of my favorite action movies, period, or sci-fi movies. We got Spooky Dude here. Hey, Spooky Dude. Always good to see you.
Spooky Dude?
And we got Comic Versus here. He was Tony is omnipresent, as the comic vet would say. And we got the Wikipedia up. So we're going to play some. We'll play some video clips later. And don't worry, everybody out there watching. If you're watching now on the replay, I did get the clip of him shooting the guy in the junk. So I know everybody probably wants to see that. So, you know what? I have no problem with it because that guy really had it coming. And I don't know. I think we need some Robocops around nowadays, you know, with some of these people really got to run the streets now. But I don't know about you guys, but I like Robocop's proactive way of dealing with a hostage situation. The guy's up there, I want this and that, and I'm demanding. He just goes up there and draws his fire and throws him out the window.
Did you hear how they did that, Steve?
No, I do. I can't remember. I watched a documentary about it yesterday.
Yeah, they were talking about that it would have cost too much money, and they didn't have the technology to CGI that. So they basically just painted up everybody with fluorescent paint and then shot it under a black light. That's pretty cool.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they didn't even have CGI back then anyway. So,
what up, Pop?
Yeah. Excuse me. I think almost there's I have a romantic view of like the 80s, because they didn't have all the computers doing stuff, and what they were working on at that time was very limited, when it came to computer stuff, and you still had to use stop motion, but you had to come up with creative ways to create stuff. That's what I always liked about that documentary series on Disney about the Industrial Light and Magic and how they came up with the practical effects for some of those movies like Star Wars and E.T., and Poltergeist. But let's look at the Wikipedia real quick, and then we'll start talking. We'll show some clips from the movie. All right. I always go to Wikipedia because IMDb always has too many ads pop ups and stuff. Okay, it was made in 1987, directed by Paul Verhoeven, and written by Edward Neumeier and Michael Miner. The film stars Peter Weller, Nancy Allen, Daniel O'Hurley, Ronnie Cox, Kurtwood Smith, who you might remember as Red Foreman. See, I can't never remember his name until I see it written down. And Miguel Ferreira, who's actually he passed away a few years ago, but he was first cousins with George Clooney. The movie is set in a crime-ridden Detroit in the near future. Robocop centers on police officer Alex Murphy, played by Peter Weller, who is in my opinion, an underrated actor. He's really great. He's actually got a doctorate in ancient architecture or something like that. from UCLA.
Yeah, he's always on those History Channel documentaries.
Oh yeah, and he was on one of my favorite police dramas called Longmire for a while. He's murdered by a gang of criminals and revived by the mega corporation Omni Consumer Products as the cyborg law enforcer Robocop, who he's also unaware of his former life. Robocop executes a campaign against crime while coming to terms with lingering fragments of his humanity. And also, I want to add that this movie was filmed in 1987, but a lot of the stuff that's happening in this movie kind of seems like true to life now. I'm just saying. I mean, some of it's just like, you know, all these corporations owning everything, like one corporation owning all this stuff, and like a lot of the city stuff. Look, they're trying to ask me to donate money to Wikipedia, but I can't do that right now. The film was conceived by Neumeier while working on the set of Blade Runner in 1982, and he developed. Yeah, they did. He developed the idea with Miner. The script was purchased in early '85 by producer John Davison on behalf of Orion Pictures. Finding a director proved difficult. Verhoeven dismissed the script twice because he did not understand its satirical content until he was convinced of its value by his wife. Filming took place between August and October 1986. It was filmed mainly in Dallas, Texas. Rob Bottin led the special effects team. Rob Bottin's one of the best special effects artists there was. Bottin. He actually did the effects for the John Carpenter film The Fog and The Thing, by the way. So Bottin was like one of the best practical effects guys in the game. Verhoeven emphasized the violence throughout the film, making it so outlandish that it became comical. Censorship boards believed that it was too extreme, and several scenes were shortened or modified to receive an acceptable theatrical rating. Robocop was a financial success upon its release in 1987, earning $53.4 million at the box office on a $13.7 million budget. Reviewers praised it as a clever action film with deeper philosophical messages and satire, but were conflicted about its extreme violence. The film was nominated for several awards and won an Academy Award and a number of Saturn Awards. What did it win? I guess special effects.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Has been critically reevaluated since its release, and it has been hailed as one of the best films of the 1980s and one of the greatest science fiction and action films ever made. The film has been praised for its depiction of a robot affected by the loss of humanity, in contrast to the stoic and emotionless robotic characters of that era. Robocop has continued to be analyzed for its themes such as the nature of humanity, personal identity, corporate greed, and corruption, and is seen as a rebuke of the era's Reaganomics policies. Its success has created a franchise and sequels Robocop and Robocop 2 and Robocop 3 in 1993. Also, there was a children's animated series, if you can believe that, and a live-action television show. There's been video games, comic books, toys, clothing, and other merchandise. A remake was made in 2014, but we're not going to talk about that piece of crap. All right, and then we go down here, and there's some of the cast. Peter Weller, a lot of these guys are still alive. Unfortunately, Miguel Ferreira is no longer with us. Ronnie Cox plays Dick Jones. He's a senior vice president of OCP. And if you might remember, he was also the police chief in Beverly Hills Cop. Okay, the concept and writing, Robocop, like I said, was conceived in the 1980s by Universal Pictures junior story executive and aspiring writer Edward Neumeier. A fan of robot-themed science fiction films, Star Wars, and action films, he developed an interest in mature comic books while researching for potential adaptation. All right, let's go on here. It's kind of boring. He was influenced to kill off his main character early on from the psychological horror film Psycho. All right, I don't really want to go through all this stuff. It takes up a lot of time. Trying to find if we can find out like it says that 6 to 8 months were spent searching for an actor to play Alex Murphy. They approached Arnold Schwarzenegger, Michael Ironside, Rutger Hauer, Tom Berenger, Amand Asante, Keith Carradine, and James Remar were all considered. Ryan favored Arnold, but the star of their recent success, he was the star of their recent success with Terminator. But he and other actors were considered too physically imposing to be believable in the Robocop costume. It was thought that Schwarzenegger would look like the Michelin Man or the Pillsbury Doughboy in the Robocop costume. Others were reluctant because their face would be obscured by the helmet. And Davidson said that Weller was the only person who wanted to be in the film, actually. The low salary he commanded was in their favor as well, as were his good body control from his martial arts training. And I want to point that out. Peter Weller says that he was taking Tai Chi and other like martial arts at the time. And he used that to incorporate the moves with his sensei of Robocop. You see how he kind of removes robotic, and he worked that out the way he does that. It was really amazing, I thought. I also might remember that he was in the movie Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension, which, if you've never seen it, is a very underrated film. Stephanie Zimbalist was cast as Murphy's partner, Annie Lewis, but dropped out because of contractual obligations to the show Remington Steele. Her replacement, Nancy Allen, thought the film's title was terrible, but found the script engrossing. Allen was known for her long blonde hair, but Verhoeven wanted it to be cut short so the character was not sexualized. Her hair was cut 8 times before the desired look was achieved. She also undertook police academy training for her role and sought advice from her police lieutenant father. The director also encouraged her to act masculine and gain weight, which she accomplished by quitting smoking. Well, that'll work every time. Kurtwood Smith auditioned for Boddicker and Jones. He was known mainly for television work, but had not had film success. He saw Robocop as a B film with potential. The character was scripted to wear glasses so he would look like the Nazi Party member Heinrich Himmler. Smith was unaware of this and interpreted it as the character having an intelligent and militaristic front to conceal being a staring, smirking little drug kingpin. Michael Ironside was offered the role, but he did not want to be involved in another special effects-laden film or play a psychopath after he worked in the movie Extreme Prejudice. Robert Picardo also auditioned for that role. Ronnie Cox had been stereotyped as playing the generally nice characters and said that this left him the impression that he could not play more masculine roles, so he decided to take it because it would give him more of a hard edge. And then they had the old man was played based on MCA Inc. CEO Lou Wasserman, whom Neumeier considered a powerful and intimidating individual. Television host Bixby Snyder was written as an Americanized, more extreme version of British comedian Benny Hill. It also says here that radio personality Howard Stern was offered an unspecified role but turned it down because he thought the idea was stupid, although he later praised the finished film. So the principal photographer began on August 6, 1986 on an $11 million budget. They filmed it in Dallas, Texas, mostly, primarily in Dallas, with additional filming in Las Colinas and in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They wanted to film on location, which suggested the near future. Detroit was dismissed because it had many low buildings, many brownstones, and Victorian-style buildings. Neumeier said that it was also a union city, making it more expensive to film there. Detroit made a brief appearance in nighttime stock aerial footage at the beginning of the film. Chicago was also dismissed for aesthetic reasons. New York City because of the high cost of filming, in California because, according to the vision of Davison, Orion wanted to distance itself from the project. Dallas was chosen over Houston because it had more modern buildings and older, less maintained areas where explosives could be used. And you're in Texas. They don't mind if you have a lot of explosions in Texas, I guess. The filming schedule in Dallas was 9 weeks, but it soon became clear that it would take longer. Based on the film footage, Ryan approved the scheduled extension and a budget of $13.1 million. Now I don't even have to tell you about the weather, but I really don't care about that. The Robocop costume was not finished until sometime into filming. This did not impact the shooting schedule, but it denied Weller the month of costume rehearsal that he had expected. It also says here that Weller fell out with Verhoeven and was fired, with Lance Henriksen being considered as a replacement because the costume was designed for Weller. However, he was encouraged to mend fences with him. So they brought him back. I think what I heard was that Peter Weller and the director really kind of clashed a lot. He often choreographed scenes with the actors before filming. Improvisation was also encouraged because Verhoeven believed that it could produce interesting results. Also, Verhoeven was from the Netherlands, I think, the director.
Yes.
So
yes.
Sometimes, like when he would say something, they're like, "We don't know what you're talking about," because everybody was American on the set except for him. I'm trying to see if there's anything else we need to find here. It had an additional $600,000 budget increase, was approved by Ryan for post-production. And, special effects team was Rob Bottin, included Phil Tippett, who Phil Tippett is with ILM. He did a lot of stop motion. He was the one that did the stop motion stuff for the movie, I think. Stephen Dupois, and Bart Mixon and Craig Davies. The effects were very violent because Verhoeven believed that this made scenes funnier. Okay. He compared the brutality of Murphy's death to the crucifixion of Jesus, an effective way to evoke sympathy for the character. That might be why they shot him in the hands, too, or something. The scene was filmed at an abandoned auto assembly plant in Long Beach, California, on a raised stage that allowed operators to control effects from below. To show Murphy being dismantled by gunfire, prosthetic arms were cast and filled with tubing that would pump out artificial blood with compressed air. Weller's left hand, attached to his shoulder by Velcro and controlled by 3 operators, was designed to explode in a controllable way so it could be easily put back together for repeat shots. The right arm was jerked away from Weller's body by a monofilament wire, and detailed articulated replica of Weller's upper body was used to depict Boddicker shooting Murphy through the head. A mold was made of Weller's face using foam latex and was baked to make it look rubbery and fresh and flesh-like. It was placed over a fiberglass skull containing a blood squib and explosive charge. And the articulated head was controlled by 4 puppeteers and had details of sweat and blood. A fan motor attached to the body made it vibrate as if shaking in fear. The charge in the skull was connected to the trigger of Smith's gun by a wire to synchronize the effect. Okay. Dick Jones' fatal fall was shown by a stop-motion puppet of Cox, animated by Rocco Joffrey. The limited development time forced Joffrey to use foam rubber puppet with an aluminum skeleton instead of a better quality articulated version. It was a composited against Mark Sullivan's matte painting of the street below. The ED-209's murder of OCP executive Mr. Kinney was filmed over 3 days. Kevin Page's body was covered with 200 squibs, but Verhoeven was unhappy with the result and brought him back months later to reshoot it in a studio-built recreation of the boardroom. Page was again covered in 200 squibs and plastic bags filled with spaghetti squash and fake blood. Page described it intense pain as each squib detonated. It felt like a punch. So he got punched basically 200 times. Man, I was getting ready to say that because you got 200 squibs. That's crazy. All right, so we've covered the special effects and all that stuff. And I probably bored everybody to death till they ran away.
We're still here, Wapo.
But hey, we got a lot of people here. Under the Cow, Middle Elf. Hey, you guys, I can't highlight everything, but we got Austin LeMay was here. Hey, Austin. I'll go through this. Yeah, you know what? That's just like if you feel bad about having to go into work because you're sick. Remember, Alex Murphy was killed and they brought him back to life so he could go back to work. Yeah, the director's cut is underrated. I mean, the unrated one, that's crazy too. That scene where they hit him with a toxic waste and he gets hit by the car is so wild, man.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched Austin. We were talking about it earlier. It's like a 4-part documentary. I really loved it. I really got into it,
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, Tom Berenger might have been bad, but I really like, Peter Weller's portrayal of RoboCop. Yeah, my friends call me Murphy. You can call me RoboCop. And you know what I really liked about it, though? Because Peter Weller, it's a good thing they had a good actor because he really, it almost reminds me of Blade Runner. You know how, RoboCop struggles. Well, he's still got the memories of Murphy, right? And he's struggling his humanity's gone, but it still lingers. So it's almost like in, Rutger Hauer, all of them may have been synthetics or androids, but they had memories just like the rest of us they wanted to keep. That's why they didn't want to, and when they found out they were going to die, they wanted more life. It's almost like, yeah, it would look like a Terminator. I'm glad Arnold didn't do it, to be honest with you, man. Yeah, I'm just glad.
He would have been way too big.
5 years before RoboCop, Daniel O'Hartley, the actor who played the head of OCP, played Conal Cochran, the owner of the Silver Shamrock Novelties Company in Halloween 3. Oh, okay. Madam's here. Hey, madam, how you doing? I don't know if you want to call us beautifuls, but I guess beauty's in the eye of the holder.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it too. When they were filming the movie here in Dallas, my sister-in-law got to meet RoboCop.
That's cool.
When he meets the kids at school, she was there. Oh, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Make the movie, but she didn't get to meet him though.
Well, she's in the paper, like the Dallas paper. They had a picture of it, and she's in the paper with him.
I didn't know I never played that Rogue City game. I got to play that. Oh, she was in the paper. That's cool.
Yeah,
man, get to meet RoboCop. That's pretty awesome. Well, we might as well play a couple clips here. One of my favorite is this little segment where when he first becomes RoboCop. We'll play it first.
Let the woman go. You are under arrest.
You better back up, pal! Because he's gonna kill her!
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
They're not in order. They're not in order, apparently.
I love the sound effects that they use for his footsteps, man.
Yeah, they were used they put it through like a processor, and so it would sound more robotic. Of course, everybody remembers this clip, right? The salesman in the commercial.
I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, that's one of the most memed lines. I love it.
Yeah, that's why I got it clipped for my show. You also got this one. I like this one. This is where I was talking about where RoboCop's struggling with his humanity, right? And he's talking to Nancy Allen when they had to go rogue, because OCP had took over everything.
Murphy had a wife and son. What happened to them?
Well, after the funeral, she moved away.
Because he's kind of almost tortured by these scenes of his wife and playing with his kid, and another interesting thing is and I have a clip of it somewhere, but Peter Weller's character when he's Murphy, he's doing that where he's spinning the gun. He said, well, I'll do that because my kid, he likes comic book heroes and stuff like that. And so then when Nancy Allen sees him do it again at the shooting range, she's like, wait a minute, it's Murphy.
Murphy, it's you.
Yeah. And they jump onto her. Remember that guy? What's he say?
What did you say to him? What did you say? What did you talk about? What did you say?
Yeah. Can you fly, Bobby? We got that one on here. Hold on. But Kurtwood Smith's got some of the best lines in the movie, by the way. We'll play a couple.
I'm not arresting you anymore.
Hey, wait a second.
That's where they try to get him in a trap, but
Wait a minute. Taking this kind of personal, aren't they? Come on, man.
They did kind of make him look like Goebbels with those glasses, though, if you think about it.
Yeah.
If you know anything about history. All right, we'll play a couple more clips here. Oh yeah,
Jean
and
Malo,
what's her
what's
name
up?
from Entertainment Tonight? Wasn't she in this movie? This isn't her. I think this is
Yes,
her.
Lisa Gibbons.
Yeah, Lisa Gibbons is in it right here.
Yeah.
Robocop. Who is he? What is he? Where does he come from? He is OCP's newest soldier in their revolutionary crime management program.
Entertainment
Hey.
Tonight's Lisa Gibbons.
Yeah, the lovely Lisa Gibbons. Beautiful legs, Lisa Gibbons. You know what I mean? Yeah, she was a looker. She had the sexiest legs in TV at the time. If you ask me, they could have gave her legs a show. Let's see. We got some more. Let's just play some of these clips real quick.
Go ahead and do it. Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
And also, that's another part where he says that later on. It's something that Murphy said. So, like, there were still like residual memories of Murphy in his head, you know. Also, we got this. This is the part where. Hold on, I gotta find it. Okay, I try to play them in order, but I can't promise anything.
You now have 15 seconds to comply. You are in direct violation of Penal Code 1.
Ed 209.
You now have 5 seconds to comply. 4, 3, 2, 1. I am now authorized to use physical.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was in the middle of hitting it.
No, you're good. I didn't know you were going to play one right then. No, Ed 209 was such a cool design, man. I've always wanted to have one of his statues.
I got the toy because they had toys that came out, and you could put
I
caps
remember
in them, like the old caps, and you could fire them. I still have it. I don't have my Robocop, but I used to have Robocop, the car, and the big guy there.
So Sideshow does have a Robocop and Ed 209 out right now. I've been thinking about getting them, but man, it's been a while since I bought some statues. I'm already out of room.
Yeah, Phil Tippett is one of the best stop motion guys ever. You know, and he studied with who I call the godfather and king of stop motion, Harryhausen. You know, so Harryhausen, if you remember, he did like the 7 Voyages of Sinbad and if I'm interrupting anybody, I'm sorry because I'm on kind of a delay here. So, here's the part I think Austin was talking about.
You burned the fucking money! I had to blow the door. What do you want? It's as good as Mark, you asshole, you stupid!
I thought that was the one where he said fly, but I got that on here too. Here it is.
Can you fly, Bobby?
Clarence, no! Hit it!
Can you fly, Bobby? Also, remember I was talking about how this kind of like imitates like what's been going on the last few years? Well, check out this scene and tell me if it doesn't remind you of something that happened, tragedy that happened in Southern California like in the past months.
I'm Jess Perkins with Casey Wong. Top story, Santa Barbara. 10,000 acres of wooded residential land were scorched in an instant when a...
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, in the movie, it's a satellite weapon system that does it. But and also, okay, here's the scene everybody remembers. This is my favorite scene in the movie. This guy had it coming.
He's gonna kill her, man! He's gonna kill her!
Ow.
Also, you know what I like about that scene? To prove that he's not human anymore. Like when she runs up to him after he saved her life, right, from being assaulted and killed. Oh, thank you. She's hugging him. He just looks like this right here. You may need to have, like he tells her what she might need to do because she's been through a stressful situation, but like he's not, there's no human there,
Yeah, he goes, Madam, you have suffered an emotional shock. I will contact a rape crisis center.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, we got this scene right here. I like this one. I think if it's the one I'm thinking of, we'll play this.
Dick, you're fired!
Thank you.
Dick?
Thank you. Also, like, do you like how like you notice when they like when they the scene where when he finally comes to grip that he's who he was before, the visor's off, right? So you get to see it's Murphy again. I think they did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got it right in the family jewels. That's where he got it. That's where he needed to get it at, John. Oh, we got a couple more. Okay, what's this one from? Oh, here's the end of it.
Now you're making me nervous. Come on, you can't do this. Come on now. Don't mess around. Hey, hey. Come on, man. Now don't get killed.
As he picks up the gun, it's like a special weapon. Like he gave him like all these military weapons to try to fight Robocop. She helps him out there at the end, and they kind of get. I don't know what this clip's from. We'll play it. You know.
I have to tell you. What's our blood pressure?
Well, that's when he's dying, and they bring him back as the. All right, that's all the clips. But okay, guys, we'll just talk about it. I'm gonna tell you right now, though, the special effects, top notch. The acting's pretty good. The satire is like what it's supposed to be. It's kind of like I think another movie you can compare the satire to. This movie is Starship Troopers.
Yes.
Major
Same director.
Same director.
Same director. You can tell it's the same style. And he loves to put like little messages in there. Like, obviously Starship Troopers was like a warning about, was talking about what can happen with fascism and how, the whole saying, history is written by the victors, right? Or like how they try to whitewash certain things. And it's also a metaphor of like, what happened in Germany, I think.
Yeah, because he grew up in Nazi occupation.
Yeah.
So he knew all about that.
Oh, you want her to be Robo She-Cop is what Sean was. But, Nancy Allen was a pretty accomplished actress. So getting her in this movie was kind of big because she was in a lot of big movies. Like, I don't know if anybody ever seen Blowout with John Travolta.
Yep.
It's a great movie. It's an underrated movie. It doesn't get a lot of love, but like he witnesses this guy getting assassinated, and he's got it all on his recording because he does like audio recording, audio effects.
Yeah, he had that mic that he could like hear people's conversations from far away. Yeah.
And she plays like the call girl or something in it. We need to. You know what would be cool? Robocop. I think they did. Did they do a comic like that? Robocop versus Terminator.
Yes,
they did. There was a video game and a comic.
Yep.
The video game was fun. I played the one for the Genesis. That one was good.
They had an arcade game too, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they had an arcade like shoot 'em up game with it. But
the arcade was just RoboCop. I don't think they had the RoboCop Terminator, did they?
Okay. I thought they
did.
did.
I just thought about this. It was just a RoboCop game. It was like a shoot 'em up kind of.
Yeah.
Well, like a lock gun kind of thing. So overall, what do you think of like the special effects or everything, Dirty? We'll go around.
Oh man, this movie still holds up. Like, yeah, there's some parts when Dick Jones is falling from the skyscraper and his arms are like twice as long as they should be. That doesn't look great. Maybe some of the stop motion with the dinosaur, but like everything else still looks good. Like the way RoboCop looked, the way he would have that sheen on him where he would go from blue to like purple and it looked like it was real metal. This movie is one of the best sci-fi movies ever. I love this movie.
Yeah. What do you think, Tony?
I agree. I remember watching it when it came out, I think I was like 14, and I love the special effects and how badass they made RoboCop and everything. And I just grew to appreciate it even more growing up. And it's just a great freaking movie. I love all the little fake commercials, which get better in the second one too.
Remember the car? The name of the car was like basically like, oh, it's not a good car. It was like it stands for something.
6000 SUX.
Yeah. So Yeah, that was pretty cool. Even the board game that was supposed to be like Nuclear Armageddon. That was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
Yes.
I was hoping that would be a real
Nukem.
game, to be honest with you. But you
Which
know,
is
like,
funny because that was the name of the drug in part 2. Nuke.
Yep.
yeah. You know what,
But
Tony?
yeah, I
the
enjoyed it.
interesting thing that you said there to me was like you appreciate it for how cool it was as a kid, you know. But like when you grow up, you get another appreciation for it because when you're a teenager or like a young kid, you don't really get the satire part, right? You don't really get that
No.
like that they're going in hard on the satire. You just see all the action and the shooting and explosions. But yeah, you get to do like it's like there's like so many like subtle layers of this film. It's the same thing with his other film, Starship Troopers.
Yeah,
everybody's up Nerdy Geek. He needs him. We need to get him
Yeah,
up there.
Appreciate it.
I was going to point out that this dude, I was looking at his filmography. Like you said, he did Starship Troopers. He did Total Recall. He even did Showgirls. So I mean,
it kind of just runs the gambit, right? I mean,
yeah, I guess
Showgirls kind of got appreciated for another reason, like later on, just for how bad it was.
That's probably one of the best movies I've ever seen. Oh.
It was. I mean, I never looked at Jesse the same again after that movie. I'm just going to say.
Me neither.
But you know what? We got to see a lot of Gina Gershon in that movie too. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was gonna say that movie made me think that I needed to get a fountain for my pool, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I have never seen that movie.
Also, you know what else made me go? How was she afraid she was going to get mouth herpes licking that stripper pole? I'm just saying. A lot of women been on that pole that night. I'm sure. I don't know. Maybe that was a bad thing to say, but anyway, I've said worse. Trust me. We got some.
No, but y'all are both right. Like I remember watching this as a kid when I was 8. I should not have been watching it when I was 8, but I got to see it, and watching it as a kid, it was awesome. But then once you get older and you see how it's more about a man trying to find, he basically became a robot, a cyborg, and he's finding his humanity again and who he is, himself. It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
There's the movie poster. Iconic movie poster too. I mean, really,
it is.
And like
I would love to get an original copy and get Peter Weller to sign it. And just frame it up.
Hey, I had a friend. My cousin went and met him at like one of those cons, where he's doing like photo ops and signatures. And he was like, "Hey, man, this is that that time that Robocop shot that dude in the dick." He said, "Of course I do." And he said, "That was awesome." And Peter Weller laughed at him.
See,
I said, "You know how many times he's probably had to say, there's a picture I saw online of a girl that met him, and she had a shirt on that said, 'You remember the time that Robocop shot that dude in the dick?'"
I was going to say, if I ever get the chance to meet Kurtwood Smith, I'd have him sign a picture of him when he played Boddicker and just say, and when he goes, what would you let me put on there? I want you to put "bitches leave."
Yeah. I love that scene where Miguel Ferrera's in there doing cocaine with these girls, right? He's like,
Yeah.
"Bitches leave."
Bitches leave. That's all he said, and they got gone.
Well, in one of the documentaries, they actually talk about how Verhoeven would talk to people and he would call them their character name. And since they had no names, he would just refer to them as bitches.
Yeah.
That's literally what he would call them.
And the one girl said, "I didn't feel bad because he did that to everybody because we didn't have a name." But the girls talked about how that was real cool. Hey, Miguel Ferreira. I think he died of Miguel. He died of I think stomach cancer in 2017 or something. But he was like George Clooney's cousin, and they say he was a great practical joker. George Clooney tells a funny story about him. He says you would not, if you were at a party with Miguel, you did not set a camera down where he could get to it because he would go into the bathroom and take a picture of his crotch with it, and it should be some random crotch shot on the instant camera.
Oh.
That used to be a danger if you left the camera sitting around back when I was in the Marine Corps. At least now you can just delete it. But yeah, that used to be a issue.
Can you imagine taking that to get developed? And they're like, "We got your pictures back." They kind of look at you weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can see it though. But like him and Clooney were like, I think, big practical jokers. I can't remember. Let me look up. I want to look up that. I know they're related somehow. I don't know. I don't mean to harp on that, but it's just like I love when I hear stuff like that because you don't really, or when I find out stuff like that because you really don't think about it.
Yeah. No, I've loved this movie since I was a kid. I don't have a lot of the comics, but I do have the one where it was like one of Jim Lee's early comic book covers, and it's a RoboCop cover. I do have like 2 or 3 of those.
Okay, here it says here that Ferrera's siblings were sisters Maria and Masita and brothers Gabriel. Later, the husband of singer Debbie Boone and actor Raphael. He also had an older sister, and he was also was a cousin of George Clooney and nephew of journalist Nick Clooney. He was raised in Hollywood, attended Beverly Hills High School. I can't remember exactly, but I can't remember who his mother was. If I can find his mom. Rosemary Clooney. Yeah, that's his mom. Rosemary Clooney was his mom. Okay, that makes sense because that was Rosemary Clooney is George Clooney's aunt, and she was a famous singer in the 50s and 60s. Yeah, there's some Dark Horse. Actually, Frank Miller wrote some of the RoboCop stuff, like at Marvel and at Dark Horse. He really liked writing for that, I think. I used to have RoboCop #1 for Marvel, but I sold it.
Didn't he write some of this one and #2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had him do like come in and do some writing. I know he did writing for I think 2 at least. I know for sure he did 2.
Yeah, because I don't think he got credited because he just did some change ups here and there, but he didn't get a full credit.
Yeah, they call it like a treatment when they do that. I think
actually,
like the guy that wrote the screenplay for Jaws, he didn't write the scene. This is another good example of that he didn't write the scene where Quint starts talking about the being on the USS Indianapolis when it went down. That was written by the director of I can't remember his name all of a sudden, but the guy that directed Conan the Barbarian, Red Dawn, John Milius, that's his name. John
Milius.
He was the one that wrote that scene, and he's also the guy that wrote Apocalypse Now. But yeah, he sent it and said, "I need this scene." Spielberg said, "I need this scene to be touched up." And we need something more to it. And he said, I know, I got a good idea. And he was a big fan of like war movies and stuff, Yeah, but John Milius.
Well, one of the most iconic scenes in movie history.
Yeah, I mean, it'll make the hair on the back of your neck stand up when you start talking because you almost feel like you're there. Like you feel like this guy's really Robert Shaw's actually was there. I know it's only a movie, but it's like one of them scenes where you just almost feels like reality, And also it was greatly acted though, because I know here we're talking about RoboCop, we're talking about Jaws, but it all comes back to Jaws and Steven Spielberg in the end. But there, in that scene, I'll briefly say this: when Robert gets further into the story, you can see how they were all joking around and Richard when he starts talking about the boat sinking. But anyway, Avatar comics too, Mental Health. Okay, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because whenever whenever the Chief Brody asks him, "What's that?" and he's like, "What? That tattoo?" and then that
Richard Dreyfuss says, yes, it said mother.
Yeah.
And starts laughing.
Yes, and he's
goes,
laughing.
"Oh,
and then he goes and like taps him like, "Hold on, before you keep joking about this, let me tell you the story." Yeah, that's a great scene. And you just see their faces just get serious more and more as they listen to it.
Tony said the RoboCop vs. Terminator comic was written by Frank Miller and illustrated by Walt Simonson.
Oh.
We get a scale version of the 7-inch action figure. Yeah, ED209. I can't really get it right now, but it's over here on my shelf. I got the toy. Oh, Mental Health Collectibles. I've worked with the niece of the author who wrote the Jaws novel, Peter Benchley.
Oh,
Peter Benchley. Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool. I mean, you know what? That's one of those movies. Just like, I don't know. It kind of like I mean, I love Steven Spielberg, but I still think that's probably one of his best movies. And it was one of his early. It was like his second film. You know, people don't realize that was the second film he ever made. Jean Below, of course, wants to ask if did you date her? You're trying to get that Peter Benchley Jaws money, huh? That's what Jean Below was thinking about. All right. Lord. Actually, you know, Legion of Comics, I think he knows. Did he say he met, or I think he met or knows Frank Frazetta's granddaughter or great granddaughter or something like that?
Oh,
not Sarah Frazetta, but like great granddaughter instead of like great.
Oh, I was about to say the Frazetta girls.
Oh, like Sarah Frazetta, she's a beautiful. I think she's pretty beautiful myself. Speaking of like Frazetta, do you see they're going to put that painting up? Conan the Berserker is going up for auction.
Yeah, I'm curious how much that's going to go for.
Because I wanted to be polite, so I didn't type. You know what? Okay. All right, John. I think John's already started drinking this morning or something. I'm just kidding, buddy.
No, I remember the crazy thing about this movie is the fact that it was an R-rated movie that was hyper violent even for today, much less back then.
Yeah.
And yet everything about it was catered to kids. There was a cartoon.
Yeah.
There was comic books. There were toys. Like it was so pushed on kids.
They did the same thing with Swamp Thing. Nerdy, if you remember, like the sequel they made to the 80s Swamp Thing was like kind of tongue in cheek, you know, Heather Locklear. And then they had a cartoon of Swamp Thing, which was crazy to me because I was like, have these people ever read like Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing? It's not. All right. See you, Pops. I kind of feel better about being on this in the daytime. He said, it's afternoon here, Matt, and I'm 66, so I can do whatever the hell I want. Hell yeah, I got you, John. I'm just joking about it anyway, man. I don't.
Well, it's like Rambo too. Remember Rambo? There was a cartoon and kids' toys, and you could buy the Rambo knife. Another R-rated movie.
It's crazy. Well, I
mean, they didn't care back then. They're like, hey, you know what? Kids will like this.
Jay, you know how many times I walked into my mom and pop rental store in my town? I'm like 11 years old, and I'm grabbing like I Spit on Your Grave and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They don't even bat an eye. Have a good day, Sonny. They just ruffle your hair and let you go.
I know I'm old, but man, I miss video stores.
Hey, does anybody remember? I remember when my aunt would give me money to get her some Doral lights, and I would go to the store and they'd sell them to me.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I used to buy my mom's Marlboros all the time. 90 cents a pack.
Man, can you believe how much? That's when Doral, they started smoking them because they were a little bit cheaper. Because I remember everybody got mad when the Marlboro Reds went up in price. It's hard to believe what the price of things used to be like. You used to be able to pay 60 or 75 cents for a comic back in my day.
Yeah.
Or 50 cents.
I remember when I first started driving, I had a truck that had a 25-gallon tank. And I remember thinking like, oh, this is going to cost me like $18 to fill up this tank, and feeling like that was so much money. And now it's like, I couldn't imagine filling up my 25-gallon tank anymore.
Well, you know what's funny? I remember watching Die Hard one time, and I paused it because I saw there was a Chevron sign and had the gas price on. I said, wait a minute. I rewound it and paused it. It was like, and this is in L.A., 88 cents a gallon or something like that, or 75 cents. And that's just in the 80s. I remember in the 90s getting it for like 99 cents or 98 cents and thinking if it was like $1.15, man, this is high as hell. And now it's like, now we're hoping it's $2 and something.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, $2.49. I'm gonna fill up right now.
I know. I mean, I don't really see it a lot, but luckily when you live in an area like I do, it is a little cheaper. But I remember going to Los Angeles about 10 years ago. I mean, it was back then. It was like $4 or $5 over there. So it's insane. Anyway, let's not talk about gas prices, but also. Just like we were talking about earlier, all the commercials and stuff that they make in this movie are hilarious. And also the bad guys are like, Kurtwood Smith is so good at being a bad guy in this movie. You just hate his guts.
Yes.
Like you just can't wait for Robocop to get your hands on it. And then the other, I can't remember the guy, but we saw him there. The one where he said when Peter Welder told him about Dead or Alive, you're coming with me, and the guy with the shotgun on the couch. That guy was just a little worm too, like a little, like a little sniveling little coward. But yeah, when I started driving, it was about like that too. And I remember you get like $10 and like just you were good. $10 got you wherever you wanted to go.
Yeah.
John Below says he saw the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre in my hometown theater when I was 15. No PG or R ratings in those days, and turned out to be a bad person. Yeah, well, I remember when they started doing that stuff. Like I remember, I still got an old Nintendo Power talking about our games corrupting the youth of America. No, it was not Nintendo Power. It was some kind of other gamer magazine or something. And it was like, because they were talking about, Game Informer or something like that. But they were talking about Mortal Kombat because it had just come out.
Yeah.
And now that's
whatever's new to the new that comes out that the older adults don't get or understand, that's corrupting America. And now they just came out with that study that people who play video games are like their brains are 10 years younger than people who don't because it keeps their brains active.
Yeah.
But it was rotting our brains when we were kids.
Yeah. Well, everything in rots your brain. Remember, like they wanted to like ban all the gangster rap records. Before that, heavy metal records. You know, I mean,
D&D, comic books.
Yeah, they've always
now people would love it if their kids read comic books because they were reading.
Yeah. My dad and mom encouraged it when they realized that I was wanting to read comic books. They went and bought them. They bought them for me. You know, my dad would bring them back from the PX and when he went to the National Guard maneuvers every year. He would go up to like Fort Knox or Fort Bragg or where they'd go, and he would bring back comics. Wherever PX he went to. They weren't, but you know what? I don't recall any of them being Mark Jewelers, though, so I missed out on that.
I was going to ask. I was going to say, were any of them Mark Jewelers?
No, that's kind of weird.
Well, they weren't always Mark Jewelers, but they were there.
Okay.
Well, it depends. What years was it, though, that he was buying them?
Oh, it was like in the 80s.
No, there still should have been some in there.
Yeah, because I got an 87 Mark Jewelers Cat 333, so yeah.
Yeah, because I think like it was the early 90s when they stopped showing up in there, right?
Yeah, there's some still like in later issues of like Todd McFarlane's run on Amazing Spider-Man, there's Mark Jewelers in them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have a couple of them like that. There got Mark Jewelers. Also, you can tell they're thicker. And if you look at the side of the comic like this, you can kind of see the insert in there if you look real close. You know what I mean? It's like a different color from the rest of the pages. Oh yeah,
because it's that glossy paper that the Mark Jewelers advertisement was on.
Who knows the evil that lurks in men's hearts? The shadow knows. All right. Well, anyway, so yeah, RoboCop has spawned all these different things. They had to. Well, I don't want to talk about it much, but I think is it Carl Urban is in the sequel? The remake, right? I think it's Carl Urban.
No,
it's not Carl Urban. It's the guy. I thought it was the guy who was Rick Flag Jr. Wasn't it him?
Oh yeah. It's Rick Flag Jr. I'm sorry, I don't know why I thought that. He's in another movie I'm thinking of. Oh, he was in Judge Dredd, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in Dredd. He was in the good Judge Dredd movie.
I like that remake. I don't know. Did you ever see Dredd? It was pretty cool.
It was amazing.
That was great movie. I don't know why they never did a sequel of that one.
But that RoboCop movie that they did, I was just like so disappointed in that movie. Even though he's a great actor, the guy that plays RoboCop in it, but I just didn't really care for it. You know,
it wasn't the same movie. It just they pushed the special effects way too much, and it wasn't the same. Because he never felt like he was. Yeah, he was always human. Like he never really had to fight for his humanity back. He felt like he was human the whole time. They could just dull it.
Yeah, and I mean, enough can't be said about the way Peter Weller plays it. So he plays it when he's Murphy, you can see his humanity, and he's like, a good police officer. He tries to do the right thing. You know, he loves his family and his son, and he's pretty cool to Nancy Allen. They're a pretty good partnership there while it lasts. It wasn't long, but and then to see it after he dies, and they bring him back, and you can see how he's just like literally robotic the way he moves. Like he said, he learned that from doing from martial artists. He had his sensei help him with that.
Yep.
And like when you slowly see him realize it, like that he's got this other part of him. It's just like a very good. It's like you don't think this movie's gonna have a lot of emotional thing in it, but you really, even as a kid, I felt bad for him. You know what I mean? Like it's like, man, look what they done to this guy. They've kind of perverted. I was like Dr. Frankenstein. Like like you couldn't just let this guy die in peace. They had to bring him back because they wanted to make money, basically. And I don't know. And it's also, a lot of things about the police force in this movie. If you look at it nowadays, they still have police strikes and stuff, and like police shortages. So it's a real thing. And also, if you see what stuff that like these companies like Boston Dynamics are doing with these robotic dogs and stuff now, and which is very scary to me because I don't know, I just think that's kind of scary. And you also see like what DARPA does. DARPA does a lot of scary shit, by the way. If y'all watching, if you never know what I'm talking about, Google DARPA and see if it doesn't make you not sleep at night. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, Mental Health said he gave you a sub, Tony.
Cool. So, thank you, sir.
All right. Everybody can sub everybody up. We'll talk about what's coming up for everybody. I got the Comic Lounge tonight. I'm not going to show the thumbnail or anything, but tonight there was some bad news today. If I can find that picture, I want to pronounce his name right because it just to do him justice.
Oh,
he was
the Mario creator.
He was good. He was important to my life, as a kid growing up. I have so many memories of this. If I can find it, I can't find it now. Oh, here it is. So Kazuki Machiyama, the creator of Super Mario Brothers, passed away yesterday.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any gamer out there that's never played Mario before. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Welcome to Derry. I watched the first 3 episodes, and I got to say, every episode's better than the last one so far. I hope they keep it up. I hope it doesn't kind of do what that series Castle Rock did. We're going to talk about that. We also have a segment where we're going to talk about top 5 songs or we recommend for this week or something like that. I don't know how we're going to do it. Also, the top 5 list is going to be top 5 songs about a comic book character. So, and then we're going to do our pickup thing and everything, all that stuff. And we'll probably talk about some movies. There's something else I want to talk about, but we'll figure it out during the show. We'll just kind of play jazz, kind of improvise. And Nerdy, you got any videos coming out soon?
So my daughter got sick yesterday, so I didn't, or actually the day before yesterday, so I didn't get to do my new comic book day haul video. But hopefully later today, I'll be able to upload my FOC. If it's not up tonight, it'll be up tomorrow morning. And then I got to do my Snail Mail Sundays coming out, of course, Sunday.
Okay, Tony. I know what you got coming up, but I thought you might as well just tell everybody else.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna try to make tonight's Comic Lounge. Thursdays I usually go to my mom's for supper, so I'll be there. I may not be there right when it starts, but I'll be there tomorrow night at, let me get the times right, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central on my channel. Me and Matt's doing this little thing called Friday Night Frights, where 1 week it's on his channel, the next week it's on my channel, this week it's on my channel. We're going to be talking about the 1979 cult classic film Phantasm, starring A. Michael Baldwin, not to be confused with the other Baldwins, John Thornberry, Reggie Bannister, Kathy Lester, and the legendary, iconic Angus Scrimm as the Tall Man. So if you've never watched Phantasm, you can check it out on Tubi before the show and join us. And, we'll talk to the chat, talk about what we like about it. And I want to talk a little bit about Angus Scrimm because he was a really great actor.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to practice my freaking tall man scouts because this dude, he didn't even have to say anything. He just made a facial reaction.
Oh
Scared the
yeah,
crap
yeah,
out of
awesome
me.
scowl. Yeah, I love it.
But when I tried to redo it, in the mirror when I'm looking at it, I look like that, Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino telling kids to get off my yard. So, uh, but yeah, we got that coming up. I've got some unboxing videos that I've filmed, but I haven't, edited them and put them out yet. So I'm gonna do that. And then sometime in the near future, I don't know how long it's going to take for me to film it, but I'm actually going through and listening to all 20 Kiss studio albums. I've got 3 left, and I'm grading them. I've got this per song grade thing I'm doing, and my number one favorite album actually has been replaced. So we'll see how that goes. If y'all want to see a
Oh,
video if you want to see a video of it, let me know because I'm thinking about making it. This started as a just me doing it, and I went, you know what? Somebody may want to see that because I've seen a lot of ranking Kiss video albums, so I may do that.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I love Kiss. You know I like Kiss. I also forgot I do have 2 mail call videos dropping this weekend. I always like to say it like that because it makes me feel like I'm like Eminem or something. My new album drops Saturday. Whatever though. We forgot to rate the movie, but I guess everybody knows from as great as we've been talking about it. I'm gonna give it 5 of 5, 2 thumbs up, and I'm sure everybody else feels the same way on this panel.
Yes, absolutely.
If you didn't, I'm kicking you out. But you're never allowed to come back on the show again. No, I'm just kidding. But I got some plaque for next week's Bad Cinema, guys. I picked, and look, I'm gonna tell you right now. Go back and watch it and tell me that it's good because the acting's just over the top. Tango and Cash. It's a good movie, but it's a bad movie too. You know what I'm saying?
I love that movie. I love that movie.
Look here. He said the Cosmic One said, when I was a kid, I would play rock and roll all night over and over. Loved Kiss as a youth. Yep, I love Kiss too. I mean, they were just they were pretty awesome, dude. I mean, let's just face it. I still want that Kiss comic book. I can't afford it, but one of these days I'll end up with it. I don't know how. That and that Alice Cooper comic. And I know Tony has both of those.
No, I have the Kiss. The Marvel premiere with Alice Cooper still on the list, but
okay.
I found a copy of that for $50. I mean, it's actually, if you consider $50 cheap, you can get one for pretty cheap. Hell, they had them on my.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, hell, they've had them on my comic shop. That's probably gonna be where I bought it. That's where I bought the Kiss book.
I'm an eyeball on that their first cameo appearance too. It's in a Howard the Duck comic. It's cheaper actually.
12 and 13.
Yep. You know what? I'll tell you something funny about Rock and Roll All Night and Party Rock and Roll All Night. I had a friend that thought he was saying, "I want to rock and roll all night and part of every day."
The funny thing is when I make that video, when I do the ranking albums, I know I've got good friends that I'm going to piss off when I do that album ranking because they're going to be like, "No, man, that album should be up here, not down here," or vice versa. So
yeah, I know. Well, you know what? I think like he was talking about somebody he was talking about Cosmic One was talking about one of the soundtracks to Bill and Ted. That's one of my favorite albums though. From that one album to that song. I mean that song, God Gave Rock and Roll. I love that song. And one of their best albums, in my opinion, came out in the early '90s, late '80s, and that's Revenge. That movie, that album's badass. And I like Hot and Shade. The first time I ever kissed a girl at a dance, it was to the song "Forever" by Kiss.
Cool. I still enjoy watching the music video for God Gave Rock and Roll to You, but I always tear up a little bit because I know it was the last time we saw Eric Carr alive on the video.
Yeah, unfortunately. He's not going to play the music.
I'm not going to play any music. I've tried. I see people where they play little snippets of songs, and I'm like, how the hell do they get away with it? So it'll just be me talking about the albums. And let me stress, it's just the 20 studio albums. It's not the live albums. It's not the 15,000 greatest hits albums or I may not put the solo albums in there either because I consider those solo albums.
Well, even the people that get away with it don't really get away with it now because I was walking. I don't know. Y'all know who Rick Beato is? He has a channel where he plays music and everything, and he keeps getting like copyright claims for people, these record companies, because they want to make money off every time this song's played. And the Professor of Rock, another great YouTube channel, he's had to deal with this stuff too. And so a lot of times they have to go into partnership with these publishing companies, because sometimes it's not even the artist that owns these songs anymore. So you'll have like everybody in the woodwork trying to make a little bit more revenue coming out. But I wish you could just like, if I could, I would have a show where we just listen to like album, like, you know what I mean? I'd play some of my favorite songs and go, "Hey, I want y'all to see this." But you know what we could do, Tony?
What's that?
I have a Discord. We could do that one night. Me and Jeff went there one night, and we played like music videos, like we were our own private MTV. I know it's not the same, but you might be able to get away with it on Patreon too. But I really don't have enough followers to get the Patreon channel. But
yeah, I've always wondered if it would work on Patreon.
Well, I looked into the one about the movie thing because I would like to just watch the movies and just comment on them, but you can't. Now, the reason they get away with that on Mystery Science Theater 3000 usually is because a lot of those old sci-fi movies are in public domain now because they let the copyright lax because they were so bad nobody really gave a crap about them. But like,
well, let's go see what movies are in public
we
domain.
should do that. We could do that and probably just watch the movie and comment on it. I never thought of that until we just, you know.
Yeah. I was going to tell G Malo if I'd have put the live albums in my list, and Kiss Alive would have been number one.
I actually like, maybe this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I like Alive 2 better than Alive 1.
I like Alive 2 because it features one of my favorite albums, Rock and Roll Over, but Alive wins it for me because of the drum solo for 100,000 years. It's like the greatest drum solo ever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but
see, we turned this into a show talking about Jaws and Kiss. So,
yeah.
But you can't see it in Tony's background here, but I don't know if he's still got it back there, but he's got the flag for Rock and Roll Over back there. There you go. Check it out.
Look at that.
One of the coolest album covers of all time, by the way. That and what I liked is when they started doing the painted album covers, like for Love Gun and Destroyer. It looked like a comic book. Tony, do you know the artist that did those, by the way?
I knew you were going to do that to me. No, I don't right offhand. I think the same guy did all three of them. I believe he also did like
Metal Elf's not wrong.
That's true. It is Detroit, Rock Cities where they got popular. You know, that's where the first city to really embrace them was Detroit. You know what I mean? That's why they wrote the song about Detroit Rock City. Them playing at Cobo Hall, they'd sell out every time they went to Cobo Hall.
Ken Kelly, he did the cover for Destroyer, and I believe he did the cover for Love Gun as well. I believe.
Yeah, John's want to know who did the 4 individual album covers.
Yeah, he passed away in 2022.
It might have been the same guy that did the individual solo albums.
Yeah, it was the same guy.
All right.
I don't know. I don't know if it was this guy, but
Frank Frazetta did the album cover for Molly Hatchet's "Flirt with Disaster."
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Ken Kelly did the cover work for Destroyer and Love Gun.
Man, wouldn't it be cool to have the original painting? I bet it's one of the Kiss members has it. But you know what's interesting about the Frank Frazetta painting going up for auction of Conan the Berserker? You know who's auctioning? You know who owns it, don't you? Kirk Hammett from Metallica.
Oh,
he bought it directly from Frank Frazetta when he was still alive for $1 million. So it's untelling what it's going to go for now.
You know what, Matt?
Rush toured with Kiss. Yeah, I need. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, because I should have mentioned this when you asked me what was going on. Saturday, November 22nd, I will be returning with another live show of it's either going to be Into the Converse or hanging out with, probably Into the Converse, because I do hang in with Grandpa Starscream every once in a while. But it is going to be centric. It's supposed to be an Ace Frehley tribute, but I don't think we talk about Ace Frehley without talking about everything that Kiss did in the 70s. So,
yeah.
No.
Well, anything you can't talk about Kiss in the 70s without talking about Ace Frehley. So it's still in essence, and I would argue that without Ace Frehley, that band wouldn't be what they were.
I can guarantee you if it wasn't for Ace Frehley, that band wouldn't be like they were.
Yeah, he has a lot of his custom guitars. He's got one that looks like a Ouija board. He's got some that like with like Boris Karloff on it or the Wolfman. So yeah, Kirk Hammett always, and like I've seen pictures of Kirk Hammett in the 80s reading comic books. So he was a big comic book collector, still is, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of these musicians, especially metal musicians, are comic book collectors or readers. Gene Simmons would read. Was it you telling me that he would like read let the kids read Amazing Spider-Man in his classroom when he was a teacher?
Yeah, he was a substitute teacher before he became a musician, and he would bring Marvel comic books to a class to get his kids to read them and teach his kids to read. And he got fired. He got fired because of
that. There's also a story I heard about. Speaking of like Rush open for him, but there's a story. I guess it's true. That they used to open for like Blue Oyster Cult, and then a year later, Blue Oyster Cult had to start opening up for them.
One of the best stories I ever heard came out of the 70s, and I don't remember the band, but they were, I thought it might have been Argent. Not sure, but they were opening for them, and they kept playing several encores, and this guy threatened to cut their power if they kept playing too many encores, and they started doing that. They'd cut the power on Kiss's set, and then one night they noticed that the power was on. They kept going. They couldn't figure out what was going on, and then they found out after the show was over with that the roadie for Kiss went and took the guy that was cutting off the power and locked him in a freaking box.
Another funny story about that happened to bands. Aerosmith had the bad fortune of having Guns N' Roses be their warm-up act for their 1987 permanent vacation tour. So in the middle of the tour, Guns N' Roses just blows up because of Sweet Child of Mine, right? Yeah. And so more people, like he said, Slash says, we started out playing to like 100 people. And then by the time the middle of the tour, everybody's already there waiting for us. And we were blowing our Aerosmith off the stage every night to the point where Joe Perry and Steven Tyler were like, we got to get these guys off this tour because everybody's just wanting to see them. So it happens. Even Leonard Skinner did that to the Rolling Stones. They opened for the Rolling Stones one time, and they blew the Rolling Stones off their doors off. Just because you know what it is. Some of these younger bands, when you're young and hungry, and you start blowing up, you just want it more, man. It's just the way it is. But we can talk about music all night. But
yeah, this is about RoboCop.
Yeah, we're talking about RoboCop some more though. RoboCop, you think he'd have been a good roadie for Kiss or Guns N' Roses? He'd probably kept. He might have rested all Guns N' Roses though.
I don't know about that, but I do know that he made a great backup for Sting in WCW. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah, Sting. He comes and gets Sting out, and you can hear it's so funny hearing Mike Tenay and them go, "It's RoboCop! It's RoboCop!"
Yeah, that was cool. And then he ripped the bars off the cage.
Yeah, it was so ridiculous, but it was funny.
Was pretty cool. That was awesome.
Did y'all hear Mom said I get too loud? I just reminded her of Cliff, she said.
Hey, we all love Cliff. Cliff is a great guy.
I'll take that as a compliment. Cliff is like, he does like, people don't realize this, but Cliff, like, his super chat stuff goes to Toys for Tots.
Yeah.
He does the Toys for Tots. I think it does, or it does during the drive. The Toys for Tots thing, he does this every year. He's been doing it for 16 years. And he's also a great supporter of everybody. He's friends on YouTube, And I don't know if I just put it this way: if you don't like Cliff, then I'm going to have a problem with you. That's all I'm going to say. And I'll vouch for these two guys too the same way. If you don't like these two guys, then you don't like me. Is all I'm going to say. Hey, another guy that I will say that about.
What's up, Will?
Cliff is a national treasure and a great friend.
And he's a national treasure for 2 countries.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Vogs is awesome too. Let's not forget Vogs is awesome too.
Mom loves Cliff, by the way. So she was just joking. But I'll tell you something else about Cliff. He doesn't really care. Like I used to dip Copenhagen, and I just recently quit the last couple of months after Heroes Con. And one of the big reasons, and Cliff didn't believe me, but I told him we were at the Heroes Con. He came into my room, to meet Mom and everything, and because he wanted to meet Mom, and because Mom didn't really go to the con, she just went for me. And I said, hey, Cliff, hand me my tobacco there. I pointed at my Copenhagen. He said, I'm not handing you no tobacco. You need to quit that stuff right now. I had a friend that got throat cancer, and he jumped all over me. Mom said, tell him, Cliff. And she goes, your mom won't tell you this because she can't whip your ass, but I can. And I kept thinking about, like, you know, I was aware that you could get, you know, cancer from it. And I was thinking, you know what, though? It's time to you know, quit. So I got to do this now. Well, we're getting ready to quit, Will, but I can send you the link when we get through if you want to talk backstage. Yeah, who's talking about? I was getting ready to get mad. I thought somebody was talking about Vlogs up here.
No,
he was talking about himself.
Vlogs was talking.
He was talking about himself.
Yeah, don't talk about yourself like that, Will. I'm going to jump on you, but I'm not even going to highlight you saying that because you are a great guy.
You may get a lecture backstage.
All right. Well, hey, one of y'all send him the link so we can lecture him about this, okay?
All
right. I'm going to end the show and he can come backstage. You got to have more self-confidence. You be like, I'm WVogs 18, and nobody, and you're not. You know what I mean? You got to be like The Rock in WWE. You just got to be like, you know, or The Miz. The Miz, you know, The Miz always had to go, I'm The Miz, and you're not. You know, and I'm awesome. So I know it's a joke, but I don't want you to even joke like that. I know you're kidding. Just don't joke like that. And John says everybody loves Will. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about the kid. I know he's not a kid. He's in his 30s, but still, he's a kid compared to me and us guys. We're old. I feel old every day.
I'm 52, so he's a kid.
Let me tell you something happened to me on my little cousins. They're kind of like my nephews because I hadn't had no brothers and sisters growing up, really. I had a couple half brothers. They were way older than me, and I didn't really see their kids a lot. You know, they're my nephews, but I considered my nephews, my cousins to be my nephews, like my cousins' kids, you know. And I was talking to one of them. I said, yeah, I got to record a video. And he's like, a video. I said, I got to record that on videotape. He goes, what's a videotape? There he is. We're getting ready to end the show, Will, but
and
we're all kids compared to Jean Malot. That's true. Jean Malot, he's the senior statesman of all of us out here on YouTube. And that's what we still love you, John. You're young at heart, though, Jean Malot. We'll say that about you. I know that for a fact. Well,
I don't know Jean Malot. I was going to say, I don't know Jean Malot. I've been around since the 1400s. So,
all right. Well, he's in his 60s. All right. Well, everybody, we're gonna go for now. He's our French Canadian friend. You'll have to meet him soon. All right, but we're gonna go and everybody keep watching the movies because good or bad, we're gonna keep watching them. Love you, John. All right, bye. Excelsior, everybody.
Come, son of Jarrell! Kneel before Zod! Snoochie boochies.